Right, it's a bit of a different video today because the job is going to be something not ordinarily undertaken by any car owner. So a bit of background on this. My Standard Vanguard, pictured here, when it was in better condition a long time ago. I think this was at a classic car dealers as I've been piecing together some of the history. The Vanguard, when I bought it and I received the registration document, had this note on it: non-transferable registration mark. Now that can mean that it's lost its original number plate and it's been reissued with an age-related replacement. You get a lot of that happening, unfortunately, with old vehicles. Unscrupulous people want to make a quick buck, take a number plate off a vehicle, and then it receives a new one that, to those in the know, sticks out like a sore thumb. I don't agree with the practice. I've got no time for anyone who does such things. So that's what I wondered about this car. The other thing that made me wonder is that it has had a set of replacement number plates, as you might have seen in previous videos. They're a modern style, even though they're black and silver. You can tell with the lettering, it's not from the 1950s. So it had received a set of new plates, which made me think, along with this, has it lost its original number? So I set about doing a bit of research, and in the car's history file, yeah, it's a shame it went from this to what it is now, really, but that happens. In the car's history file, I have this letter. I've just got to be careful not to breach data protection, because a lot of this has got the addresses on of former keepers. This gives an outline of the registration system in the United Kingdom. Historically, the registration marks were issued by county councils or urban district councils. Each local authority had their own licensing system. Hence, the number HK is Essex. Now, I was told with this car that one of the previous owners actually bought it for its registration plate, because his initials must have been HK. But when he found out he couldn't remove the number off it, I think he sold it on. So all this made me wonder what was going on with the car. So fortunately, a tip off from my mate Richard. He said, well, Essex Archives Office, they were the ones who did retain their ledgers and old paperwork, and they weren't destroyed. A lot of them were destroyed, of course. It just depended on the local authority. Most of them were shredded, but Essex had the good sense and foresight to retain theirs and archive them. So for a small fee, I was able to request a copy of the registration entries for this series 263 and so on and so forth, the 2600 series. So there's a lot of detail in here, actually. these are all the cars, new at the time, well, vehicles as well, because we've got a Fordson tractor there. It gives details of its date of registration, the registration mark, which would be followed by HK, of course. The name and address of the owner then, i.e. the first buyer. The make of vehicle and the agent, i.e. the supplying dealer. So we've got a couple here. That's the Eastern Garage, Chell, for Chelmsford, and we can see they've had a couple of Morrises sent to them, new Morrises. But we come on to mine, which is what I was after here, 2637, and it was supplied to a Mr. H.A.J. Winslade of Elm Park, Romford, and that is my my standard. So again, where was it? That was supplied by Romford Motors. So that was enough to confirm to me that the car actually does bear its original registration mark. And it transpired what had happened is that the car, when the records were computerized, you only had so long to register a car on the new system and receive a new V5C logbook, or a V5. They were blue at the time, the logbooks, the new ones, and you only had a set time frame to do that, because there were a lot of old cars still registered that didn't exist. They'd been scrapped, but the numbers were still live. So it sort of rooted out all the survivors, really. For whatever reason, my car didn't make it onto the new system, and it must have happened a lot later, where someone re-registered it again, but because they had all the documentation, they were able to keep the original plate, and it was re-registered under its original number, but that was made non-transferable, presumably because of the process. I'm just trying to look at, oh yeah, I've got it here, the date of first registration. I'll just get that up here. Where are we now? Here it is. So the date of first registration is here, 1995, you see. So that would have been it. That's the reason for it. So fortunately, it retains its original registration, but it doesn't return its original number plate. I don't know why anyone would take the plates off a car, because in the United Kingdom, the same number stays with the vehicle all its life. You'd have no reason to replace or renew the physical number plate unless it was damaged, of course, or was missing completely. So one of the things for me to do was to find a more period correct style of plate, just because the replacements were incongruous, really. So the hunt was on to find something suitable, and that's what I'm going to show you today. An auto jumble turned this up. That is an original number plate blank made by Bloomel's, big makers of the time. Did lots of number plate things, along with many other sort of plastic goods. Before I bought this one, I actually happened upon another at the same auto jumble, but that turned out to be much bigger, and this is a much better fit for the number plate aperture. Now, all that remained was to find the correct collection of numbers and letters. So that was an eBay job, and eBay is great for finding these things. That is one definite advantage, well, not an advantage, but a great benefit of the internet now, that us folk running these old cars can find things a lot easier now, because pre-internet days this must have been extremely hard to find stuff like this. So these are definitely of the period, late 1950s. I did a bit of research on that. Some of these are used, but you can't find stuff like this brand new anymore, or very, very rare to find old stock. But the digits are Blumels, Pyramid 2. I think this is a used one because it's had the pips ground off. That's another used one, but they're still there. That's a new old stock character there. And then of course there are the lock washers to secure it to the back of the plate. Now, this making up a number plate was a job for the specialist. The motor factors did that, not even the supplying dealer. They put in their orders for whatever the customer preferred, if the customer had a choice. There were plenty of different types available, plenty of different styles to choose from. So the customer would put in their order, or perhaps the selling dealer who had a contract with whoever, their supplier, and then the number plate would arrive at the dealership fully made up. This is not something that was ever done by the supplying car dealer or the buyer. And that's because it's a very, very specialised job. So I've thought what the best way to do this is, because this is like the smallest plate that would fit 4 characters in a row, and I've tested it just remaining within the border and getting the spacing looking correct. And I think I can just do it, and you'll see that that H only goes one way up. And I did check that. I did find an old advert that actually illustrated the H, and I'll double check this before setting it. But well, I suppose not that it matters, because it's got 4 equally spaced pips on it. But I think it was that side with the shorter legs at the bottom, but I will double check that. And then the K, you see, so I've just managed to fit all these on just within the confines of the plate, and it is going to work. It is going to work. Of course, had it been 3 number, 3 letter combination, then things would have been a lot easier. So there, for instance, as it is, I'm going to have to make the best use of what I've got. So how to go about it, because of course there's only one chance, I only get one shot at this. As soon as I start drilling it to take the characters, then that's it. So how to go about it, making an accurate job, because the firms that made these up had jigs. They were accurate jigs specifically for this purpose. Now, I thought about this, how to ensure an accurate fit and appearance. So I came to the conclusion that the best method now, in the absence of the specialist jig, is to make up a sort of cardboard dummy number plate that is within the border, because it has that beveled edge to the plate. So this is the actual representation of the surface, the usable surface of the plate, and I've just cut that to the size of the edges there. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to have a picture of the car with its number plate, its existing plate, or I'll bring the existing one with me to have in front of me, just so I don't misremember the number. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these in here, press them into the cardboard carefully so that they make an indentation. I'll press them in once I've set them right, and then the indentation, the marks will be where I need to drill the holes then, you see. So that's what I'm going to do next. So there it is. That's the mock-up now. I've pushed the numbers down into the cardboard so they are marked as to where I want to drill the plate. And that is a copy of the Standard Car Review with the club magazine, with my Vanguard on the front. And you can see these reproduction number plates do stick out like a sore thumb to the trained eye. Totally wrong style. So I'm going to tape this template down to stop it from moving, because even moving a fraction of an inch will upset the order of things. So I'm going to securely tape that down, after which I can remove the numbers carefully to reveal the marks underneath. Did I say that the shorter legs were at the bottom? Well, no, it's the longer legs that are at the bottom. So that's fine. You see, that's removed and it's left its mark there. And I've just gone round the fainter ones with a biro just to pick them out. So that's now securely taped down, and it's ready for me to make some tentative drill holes in it. Well, I do hope this turns out correct, I really do. And yeah, to make sure, double check it's under there now, because it's certainly not there at the bottom. That the Blue Mel's name was, of course, the right way up, and yes, it is, because it's under there. There we go. So there it is, all drilled now. I hope it's right now. I used a battery power drill, very low speed, and I made the first marks just turning the drill bit by hand, just the initial indent into the aluminium plate, so that the drill bit would find its way and run through. So I'm going to remove the template and hopefully everything will be tickety-boo. And there it is. Very pleased with the result there, very pleased. All characters are within the border, the spacing is as I wanted it. Carefully remove these. I'll leave the 7 in because that's a good fit. It went as well. Well, I could have hoped it went a bit better, but given the obvious handicap in that I didn't have the special jig to do it anyway, with that rather primitive method I used, it's gone as well as I could have hoped for, I suppose. The 2 was the worst by far and away, the number 2. Some of the holes I did have to just enlarge just a little bit, just to make the numbers fit, but it's still covered up by the number on the front, so it is invisible. And I've fitted the retaining clips to the K. It said to use a special punch, but in actual fact it's quite easy to find something within the garage that would do the job, like a suitable old socket of the right diameter, 7/16 or something, and then just lightly tap them on. So yeah, I'm really pleased with that. So in time I'll fit that to the car. I'm just going to finish off now attaching the rest of them clips to secure the letters. That's what give it away amongst, well, that's what certainly substantiated my suspicions. So there it is, it's finished now. It looks a lot better, more compact. And these, of course, are the genuine characters they would have had at the time, with the, again, Blue Mel's mark at the top. And I'm pretty pleased with that. Pretty pleased. So the only thing that's left is to actually mount it, and it's going to be almost a shame to drill through it, but there were some, well, there are some existing mounting holes there from the original plate. So I need to decide what's best, but it does fit neatly within the, you know, within the sort of border of the number plate shroud. Anyway, that's that. I know it's not been the most enthralling of videos, but just something a bit different really that I thought was worth recording.